We be
And
live.
we're live. Apparently, there is no countdown timer today.
Hey. All right.
All right. Well, uh, we are back. It is Sunday. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are rounding out our West Virginia series. This is season 2, episode 10, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, Take Me
Let's
Home,
take this home.
Country Roads.
Yes. Let's
And
finish this off.
finishing off West Virginia strong. So far, we've talked about the Flatwoods Monster. We've talked about the Grafton Monster. We've talked about Ingrid Cole, the Men in Black, the Mothman. Only one last thing on the list is the White Things,
Yeah. The white things.
which actually refers to a lot of different creatures. But today we're talking about Sheepsquatch.
Whoever came up with Sheepsquatch just needs to be shot in the head. Personally, what the hell name is that? And that drawing illustration right there. That's just so wrong in itself.
That it is.
That looks like a walking rat. Plain and simple.
It kind of does. But the crazy thing is, this thing was actually seen in the 1990s. Is when it was seen, and we started in Point Pleasant. We went to Flatwoods. We went to Grafton. Now we're back in. Um,
It's
maybe your
Boyd
old
County.
co-host named it.
Back to Point Pleasant.
Back to Point Pleasant, ending where we started. What we have is multiple sightings, and I'm gonna have to read this off of the list. Our researcher decided to take the week off. The MIB probably got a hold of her, so I
She's
had to
on the
do my
run.
own
She's on
research.
the run. She's on the run. Plain and
She's on the
simple.
she's on the run. She's running free. So what we have is several different reports on the sheep squatch. Some say it walks on two legs. Some say it actually walks on four legs with a wool-like white fur, which is why we've got
Mhm.
the sheep.
Sheep.
And it has long saber-like teeth with a single uh, set of horns not dissimilar to those found on a young goat. Its forelimbs end in a paw-like hand similar to those of a raccoon but larger, while its tail is long and hairless like that of an opossum. It is reputed to smell like sulfur, which has been attributed through folklore to the beast being born within the TNT area of Mason County, like the Mothman.
Right.
Now, some people say it's just a musk gland, like a skunk, a weasel, or a Bigfoot. The first sighting was actually in 1994. A former neighbor seaman said he had witnessed a beast breaking through the forest. The white thing breached the brush line and knelt to drink from the creek. Here it drank for a few minutes before crossing the creek and continuing on towards a nearby road. The witnesses stated that he observed the animal for a while before it moved on to into the surrounding brush. Within the same year, two children observed the creature while playing in the yard within Boone County. What they reported having observed looking like a large white bear, yet in this case stood up on its hind legs, making it over 6 feet tall. Um, Startled by the children, the beast ran through the forest, breaking medium sized limbs off in its path. So we've got two good sightings in 1994 of a large creature with
Bipedal.
horns and white fur,
And
bipedal, sometimes quadrupedal.
mm-hmm.
Um, that was weird. The next one was in 1995. The creature was next spotted a year later, this time involving a A couple driving through Boone County. Don't ask me what the car was. Car doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah. Sure don't matter.
They observed a large white. They observed a large white beast sitting in the ditch alongside the roadway. As many curious passerby might do in such a situation, they stopped the car to get a better look at it. Of course they did. They stopped. That's crazy. That's a horror movie stuff. Hey, big scary white thing. We better stop and take a look.
Right?
They came to describe the creature again as mostly similar to earlier descriptions, yet they added that the creature had 4 eyes, in stark contrast to the last sighting where the Sheepsquatch fled the scene. The creature leaped out of the ditch and started to attack the car. Frightened by the attack, the couple drove off quickly, and once they arrived back at their home, they noticed large scratches on the side of the car where the beast had attacked it. So now we've got it attacking things, and now it has 4 eyes instead of 2 eyes.
I want picture proof of it of the attack on the car. I want to see those scratches.
Well,
Just
it's
saying.
1995, so there's got to be pictures somewhere of this. It's
That's what I'm
current,
saying.
it's
I'd be taking pictures because no one
well,
would believe
yeah.
me. I mean,
Well, I mean, we've got 1995. I mean, cell phones weren't abundant like we do have them now, but I mean,
yeah, but cameras.
we have cameras. If you're stopping to take a, a look at something, you're gonna probably want to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
More
it's
evidence.
just kind of weird as is.
Yep.
The next sighting was 1999.
So about
Involved
every
a couple
4
of
years.
campers who were in the forest at night.
Okay.
Well, it was 94,
Yeah,
95,
94 and then
and then
95. Yeah.
99.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Quite a few sightings.
Couple of campers who were in the forest at night, again in Boone County, around a bonfire. They eventually heard an animal snorting and scuffling about the camp in a manner similar to that to an aggravated bear. Though it did not come into the light of the campfire immediately, all of a sudden, a sheepsquatch suddenly charged out of the darkness at the campers. Reacting quickly, they jumped up and ran back into their house, all the while being pursued by the sheepsquatch, giving chase as is a natural reaction of a predator when a creature flees its initial attack and it's been a mock charge. The white thing stopped at the edge of the forest when they crossed it and let out a terrible scream. Then it turned around and headed back into the woods. The next morning, the campers returned to their campsite and the trail home, finding it to be torn up. They referred to it as like someone had tilted it up for gardening. So we've got it attacking and it's ripping and tearing and shredding everything.
Yeah.
And then we've got another sighting in 2015 in Folks Run, Virginia. So now we've jumped over to the next state
County.
over. Not West Virginia. Now we're in just Virginia.
Virginia.
We're just in plain old Virginia.
All right.
The beast was spotted again in the forest of Appalachia. The creature was spotted close to midnight by 6 campers spending the night in the dense woods. The beast was reportedly 8 to 9 feet tall with shoulder length hair. One of the campers first saw the beast at the top of the nearby hill in a crouching position. Then it stood up and he alerted the other campers. Then it started running down the steep hill towards the campers, but they were separated by the river that was flowing through it. They looked in horror as it searched for a way to cross and with no other option began to wade through the river. So that's, I guess, this picture that we're looking at. It finally came out of the water and the campers reported that it appeared like a bipedal dog in the chest with its fur wet from the river crossing. Then a loud gut-based screech was heard about 2 miles off from where they were. Then the sheepsquatch looked up in shock, just high enough so the moonlight was in its face, and the campers looked on in fear as it let out a pathetic whimper, then a sprint ran in the opposite direction of the noise. The campers quickly packed and left. And then they reported it to the locals, fearing that if authorities were informed, they would be ridiculed. The identity of the campers is unknown as of March 2016.
Everything to me just
Now,
screams.
again, it's not our place to say it's real.
I just think it's a misidentification. Everything you just kind of almost like sound like it was a bear just standing on its hind legs. Oh, dude. I don't know,
Well,
man.
it's never our place to say.
That's just my personal opinion.
Well, the thing is, it's not our place to say if it's true or false. It's ours
Exactly.
just to bring up the information and throw it out there and say,
Let
you
everyone
guys
else
decide.
protect themselves. They're smart enough; they can all figure it out as well.
Yeah, I know the Sheepsquatch is just one of those major things in West Virginia. Um, is it real? Is it fake? Figment of imaginations? West Virginia also has Bat Boy. Uh, you see him in the National Enquirer, Bat Boy.
Mm.
We're going to cover Bat Boy? No, we're not covering Bat Boy.
No, no. And wasn't the Sheepsquatch featured on Monsters and Mysteries in America?
It was featured on Monsters and Mysteries in America. Um, the people of West Virginia were not too happy with that show. They tried to make out people of West Virginia to not be uh, cultured. We'll go with cultured.
Okay.
Kristen Gray says, "I love hearing your opinions and theories too."
Hey, Kristen.
On one
That-
on on one end, we have a creature that a lot of people have seen. Um, if it was a bear, I mean, now we're going back to like the grafted monster, big white furry. If it is a bear that's misidentified, is it an albino bear? Is it a escaped polar bear?
Escape polar bear. That's a good one. Possible. Then you zoo over there missing a polar
Well,
bear.
that's what. Especially, I mean, we got the 50s for the Grafton Monster. We've got the 90s for Sheepsquatch here. So that would be the entire question: is what is free in the woods of West Virginia?
Goes
What
back
is
to
going on in West Virginia?
that TNT factory over there in Point Pleasant area. It seems like that's where all this stuff is originating from.
Well, which some people would happen to say that because of the fact that was an ammunition depot and they did have nuclear material. So let's go the Godzilla route, the kaiju route. What if all the radioactivity is
A mutated.
mutating everything? Then you're getting Mothman, Sheepsquatch, Bat Boy, the Grafton Monster, the Flatwoods Monster, or as some skeptics would say, what are they smoking in West Virginia and can I get some?
Right. Yes. I got nothing for this, man. I just truly don't.
All right, I've got one more sighting from actually 63. So 1963, we do have 63. We got one report that I just popped up here.
You just came across
Um,
one from 63, and after you just said 94 was the first sighting? Okay, where are you coming up with all this info now?
uh, it's just up on the phone, and I just didn't scroll all the way over.
Ah,
We've been so busy with the walks. I really didn't do a lot of research on. I just screen capped everything today.
oh
By the way,
yeah.
if you're in St. Helens, be sure to come on out. We've got the Old Town Ghost Walks. James and I are the co-hosts. We're the co-MCs. We're having a good time with that one. But we're not talking about Old Town Ghost Walks. We're talking about this big, shaggy, white thing that's off to our side here. So what we got is a woman who encounters a white beast while traveling home from church on horseback. According to the story, the creature charged at the woman but retreated back into the trees after she fled out on her horse. When she got home, the woman left her horse outside and went into her house. But the next morning, she found her horse dead with most of the flesh torn from the horse's bones.
Hmm.
So now if you like dogs, we're having a John Wick moment. If you really like horses, it could also be technically a John Wick moment. Burn the woods, figure out what happened.
Hmm. Yeah. So she comes home, ties up the horse, wakes up in the morning. The horse basically is not existent
From
there. Now, is
I
she
do
up?
have one from 1929.
Wait a minute. Isn't that the one? No, no, no,
I was
no.
63. No,
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
uh, a Croatian immigrant who encountered the creature on his way home from work in Marion County in 1929. According to the story, Frank Kozul took a shortcut through the woods after working at the Jordan 93 mine. During his walk home, he claimed to be attacked by a beast about the size of a large dog with white hair, a bushy tail, and sharp teeth, though it didn't leave any signs of injury after he escaped.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that would be more of a white thing because apparently um, we'll add this back up to a second. The white things, the last thing on this wonderful, happy little poster, um, it actually covers a couple different creatures, Sasquatch, these white dog-like things without the horns. Um, but I
So
mean, they just put it generalized as white things.
they just didn't give it a specific name. They just said white things.
Yeah, because some reports of this thing are it walks on all fours. It doesn't have horns. It has four eyes. It has two eyes. It has horns. It walks on its feet. It's big. It's ugly. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. And the Mountain Monsters episode that focuses on Sheepsquatch in Boone County is season 1, episode 12 of Mountain Monsters.
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be one to
So I might
watch
have to
later.
go watch that one.
Yeah, have to watch that, and they'll probably put me asleep watching that. I guess I'll be the little skeptic on this one. Just saying.
That's so that's okay though. That is 100% okay. We do I put any basis into Sheepsquatch? I think it is a good story.
And I think that's about what it is. People just want to get a good story out there, kind of like the Grafton Monster. I mean, just that illustration alone, that gives it a good conversation piece. Honestly, I mean, it looks like a combination of four different animals all into one.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think some people are have nothing better to do than to their imagination. Maybe there is something out in the air over there.
Well, I'm not going to say they didn't see anything. It could be a misidentification. There really could be something like this picture lurking in the woods of West Virginia.
Well, in that case, I'm not in the mood to take that road trip then.
Oh, come on, it's a rental car. They can beat up the rental car.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, just hearing, you know, it came after that couple in the car, but then it sounded like as well. And then and one of the other sightings is like it. No, that it didn't. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know. Maybe too aggressive, but then yeah, it's like all these other cryptids we've been talking about. Most of them have been, running away for the most part, and this one just kind of wants to charge people and things.
Well, I mean,
Well,
well, the thing
the
is, I mean,
thing
if
is,
it
I mean,
is,
if it is, if it
sorry, I got a lot of
is,
interference on my headset there.
oh,
A lot of, I mean, if you look at like cougars and bear,
yeah, right.
um, when I spent a lot of time in Montana, I witnessed that a lot of times was the bluff charge. Cougars, bears will charge at you.
Hmm.
They're just letting you know, hey, you need to go away. I mean business.
Right.
And I mean, a lot of that time they don't want an encounter. They don't want to deal with you. They just want to let you know, hey, don't come over here.
And this is my territory. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now, like we were always told in Montana that the most dangerous animal in the woods was the moose because the moose ain't going to charge you. He's just going to charge.
Right. I've
And,
heard
and
that.
you kind of have a chance with a black bear. You got a chance with any of the other animals, but a moose will just get upset and um I mean sheepsquatch, if it is real, if it is a
Hmm.
thing,
And some of the description too is saying that it's got the ability to use quills on its back as a weapon.
yeah, it's another one of those cases of a lot of different descriptions going on. Is it uh people
Is
seeing
it,
it in a hurry and then they're just making an assumption?
or they've got really bad memories. Um, but I mean, a cedar gear. What the heck? Puts off a really foul odor. Wouldn't that be kind of like any of those other cryptids we've been talking about?
Yeah, that would just be the scent gland going on.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought there'd be a little more to this. And then wait a minute. Now, is there a little festival for this guy too? Since every other
No, there's
cryptid
no
we've discussed about has got a little festival going on.
No, there is no festival for sheepsquatch yet.
There it is. Yet. So we
Yet.
can watch
It's not
this and
very
go,
well
oh,
known.
it will be now. And
Probably. I mean,
I do know that there was some
well,
books written on this as well. Were those even
there have been some
bestsellers?
books that I don't know about.
Like something
Jason
else.
Ponte says, "Hey there, guys."
Right. It's just like someone else was all worrying about what kind of car it is. I'm sitting here saying, okay, is there a book? Is it a bestseller?
Well, the only way we're gonna know about sheepsquatch and
and any other cryptid.
Mothman, There are a lot of cryptids I can get behind. There are a lot of cryptids I can say, okay, we've had 160 sightings in a year. We've got a history of it. We've got a bunch of multiple people who have seen it, documented it, recorded it. There are some that are just they're good stories. We'll put it that way.
Yeah,
Um,
this seems to fit the bill for that one,
if
in
it
my
is a
opinion.
story, then great. It's a good story. There's should be more to go on. It's a legend. It's a myth of West Virginia, and it was more interesting than talking about Bat Boy. I told you we weren't going to talk about Bat Boy. If anybody in the audience wants to know about Bat Boy, just go to your internet, look it up. It's a National Enquirer story of a boy who's born with bat-like qualities. Apparently, it's a West Virginia thing. We ain't going there. We'll go with things that got a little bit more story behind it. I was gonna say possibility of being real. I mean, if this thing was real, um, it kind of reminds me of something out of Star Wars. To be honest,
Oh yeah, huh?
Empire Strikes Back. It reminds me of a Wampa
Yeah,
with the
that's
big
it.
old claws, the horns. Um, Now, if we wanted to play it both sides, so the believer would say, okay, could be a real thing, could be a real cryptid that's walking around. Maybe, all that nuclear material and everything at the TNT area is actually mutating things into not so happy. But because some of these reports go back to even before TNT was a um, weapons area.
When did that become a weapons area? Do you remember?
That was back in the 50s.
Okay, so that was back in the 50s, and the earliest report on this, you said, was in 29.
29, and Mothman was in the late 60s.
Right. But so if saying this is an actual real cryptid, going that route, it wouldn't be from, well, mutation. Yeah, never mind. I'm sitting here taking this back a little bit because something going in after the fact. Yeah, well, I don't know. Shit, my mind's all over the place now thinking about this. Thanks. Um, but in 29, the mutation, it wouldn't have been from the TNT area there. That's for sure. So
Well,
it would.
if we
It
wanted to
wouldn't.
go down the if we wanted to go down a rabbit hole,
Oh, the rabbit hole.
and we're going to veer way off because there really isn't a lot of material, so we got time to. I don't want to say we have time to kill, but we got time to go way off track and go down a path and go crazy.
All right, let's do it.
So back in the early 2000s, there was this TV show called Primeval. It was a BBC thing where there's these portals were opening up and letting dinosaurs from the past come into the future. And the whole show was this special team of scientists were corralling the dinosaurs and putting them back through their portals and closing them up. Oh yeah, it's gonna be one of those things. We're going. Put on your
All right.
tinfoil hat. We're going for a trip.
Let me keep my seatbelt on.
By the way, everybody, we are not drinking tonight. We are actually drinking Dr. Pepper and Coke. There is no whiskey involved.
Yeah, not tonight, man. It probably should have been.
Probably should have been, yeah, but it was a long weekend.
Very long. So we're down the rabbit hole. You're
We're going down the
talking
rabbit
about
hole.
this BBC
All,
Primal Fear.
The time portal scenario, the opening gates. So if we look at Skinwalker Ranch, now we're really going to have the feds on our ass. If you look at Skinwalker Ranch, some of the reports out of there are
Absolutely.
portals opening
Absolutely.
up and
Over the mesa,
creatures
around the
coming
mesa.
out.
Mhm.
Yep. So you got these portals that open up and these creatures that are coming out. What if I need a tinfoil hat, by what if Sheepsquatch is nothing more than like a dinosaur, an ancient creature from a different timeline, different time zone, different alternate universe? And I'm not saying it's aliens.
No, the aliens just dropped off their pet.
Well,
Let them go.
if we went with that concept that aliens are dropping off their pets, I mean, it would make sense. I own a husky. Other people might own a pit bull. Some might own a boxer. Might own a pug. What if this is just somebody's version of a crazy husky? It's a space husky.
Oh man, this is really going off the rails. No, no space husky, please. I can't. Oh my god, dude. Doc, man, I don't know. The rabbit hole is really deep on this one. You're really reaching here.
We are 30 minutes into a story that really was only like a 20-minute story, and we stretched that out. It's just a fun little thing. Why not? People love to tune in for chaos. Guess what, everybody? Welcome to the chaos.
This is now, yes, true chaos in its purest form. Just missing the one element. God. Oh, the rabbit hole. Hey, well then, going down that rabbit hole is Sasquatch and sheep squatch. They distant cousins, brother, sister.
Illicit lovers.
There you go. If we're doing this, we're gonna do it right, man.
Bring on the chaos. That's what we live for.
Yeah.
I mean, that
All
just
right.
needs to be this weekend. Chaos.
Yeah.
For the
It's
viewers at home, we worked on our ghost walk. We had mapped it all out. Friday night, we go to do it, and there is a beer tent right in the middle of our path.
and the beer tent was even closed. It wasn't even all the way open. Go figure.
We could have just taken him to the beer tent. I mean, I don't think anyone would have complained.
Yeah, well, maybe the mother with the two little girls. Just
Then we
saying.
just simply say, gather around, everybody grab a pint, and we'll talk about Sheepsquatch.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly, truthfully, this could have been
Well,
on so many different levels a misidentification, if anything.
let's go down the skeptic view
Ah,
of
shit, we don't got the
what it.
skeptic here anymore.
We can play that part. We can look at both sides and judge them. And we've gone the here's the story. We've gone down the tinfoil hat.
All right, let's do.
So I mean we it looks like a bear,
Looks like a rat.
albino bear.
I'm just
Well, I
trying to
mean,
get.
if it's a bear and it's got a long tail, then maybe it's something else.
I'm just like I said. I'm just looking at this illustration. The only thing that's really popping out at me is that damn tail. It freaking looks like a rat. A big furry rat standing. You know, almost like Master Splinter. uh,
So what you're saying is
Hey,
Sheepsquatch is Master Splinter, and all the rest of the cryptids we've discussed are the Ninja Turtles.
hey, you're going down the rabbit hole. Let's do it. Uh,
Chaos
no,
ensues.
but
We have one
honestly,
person watching tonight.
I'm surprised there's even one. uh, I'm just saying. Uh, this was a tough one, to be honest. I mean, you know,
Well, we know it's mostly happens from 94 on. I couldn't find any recent sightings. Um, you got a couple of the white things. Yeah, this picture back up. You know, those white things. It's a broad category of multiple sightings, multiple issues.
now
Yeah, I
with
mean
these
we've
sightings
we've
and
kind of covered a lot of West Virginia.
right, but have the people on a little more serious note, trying to be here. Uh, everyone that had these sightings, have they come out further with you know, any new stuff? I mean, has like the other cryptids with how the people that have seen these, it's like they don't want to be associated with them, and they just want to deny it all. Have these people that had these sightings, have they said anything along those lines? Or are they still sticking to what they saw, or they just don't want to acknowledge it ever happening?
Well, what I've found is that they're really just not. They put out a blanket statement. This is what I saw, and then they kind of move on with life. Sheep Squatch being fairly new. I mean, you got your grafted monster, like you said. Does it have a festival? No. It is featured in that game, Fallout 76, along with the Mothman, the grafted monster, the Flatwoods monster. Um, so a lot of people are learning it through the game right now and going to West Virginia seeking it out. So
But I
popularity
mean,
wise, it's kind of gathering a little bit of popularity.
but it's gaining the popularity to a video game versus
Right.
more reality based, you know, facts or lack thereof of facts in real time.
Yeah.
I don't, I can't fathom or see a cryptid or anything like that being, it's becoming more mainstream because of a video game.
Right. Like, well, the Mothman had a
I
big
guess I'm
following.
old school and I just don't think that way, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I know that West Virginia is being seen a surge in popularity because of that video game. So people are now learning more about these things. Um,
Because of the video games.
but the thing is, why wasn't some of these monsters not having more of a following beforehand?
Right.
Like the Grafton monster, you hadn't heard about it.
No.
Um,
Just like
like
I hadn't heard
I
about this.
grew up on all these. Yeah, I
I
had to
mean,
do research when I started
I mean,
West.
honestly, like I've said, all these cryptids that we've covered here in West Virginia, I've not heard of until we, started covering them. I mean, yes, I've heard of the Mothman. I mean, who hasn't? I mean, that's like
Yeah,
one of the well-known ones, but all these other ones I've never even heard of. I mean, I wouldn't even the fact that I don't know about any of them, and then to find out that most of them have a little festival, basically,
Uh-huh.
celebrating this cryptid, just boggles the brain.
Well, well, I mean, like Cannon Beach has the Bandage Man, our own
Right.
little cryptid. Whether you want to put belief behind it or not, but the city wants nothing to do with it. They don't acknowledge it. They don't recognize it. You've got a handful of people that say, "Oh yeah, I saw it. This is what's going on. This is what it's about." But if the city really wanted to capitalize it, like McMinnville has a UFO festival. Um, Point Pleasant has the Mothman. Grafton now has the Grafton Festival. Flatwoods now has been doing the Flatwoods Festival for a while. If
So
Cannon
Steve's
Beach
talking
ones
right
really
now.
get a lot of,
And what?
yeah, but well, like they don't want to be associated. They're more of a high scale touristy attraction.
Hmm.
People come here for the beach. They're not coming here for the monsters.
Right.
If you want to look at it in a certain way, West Virginia is not a big touristy place. I
It
don't think
is.
once anyone's
It's,
always just said
the only time it's a touristy place is when they got these festivals going.
exactly. Because when other time are you going to want to go to West Virginia on just a normal everyday vacation?
If there's something interesting there, I would do it for sure.
But I
Now,
mean, you have a festival, you celebrate a monster, a cryptid, a ghost. Then you're going to get more people. Like Point Pleasant, their population quadrupled this past festival.
mm, okay.
Grafton just got a huge influx of people because of that Fallout 76. You've got people that play that thing religiously that are making the trip to West Virginia to go to Grafton, go to Flatwoods. They're going to Point Pleasant. I mean, even though the game is a fictitious West Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
they're still using, it's a post-apocalyptic West Virginia of 2028, I think it was. So they're taking their post-apocalyptic view and applying it to West Virginia, putting in a lot of the cryptids, a lot of local legends, a lot of myths. A lot of people love to play this game, and now they're all flocking to it.
I guess more power to them. I'm just saying.
Well, I still stand by the thing of we need to take a road trip to West Virginia, fly in, hit up the main places, go look for a Sheepsquatch, and maybe we can just prove it ourselves.
Yeah, okay. I'll just go to the zoo and say, "Hey, Mr. Polar Bear, how are you? Did you go out on a work release program and just not come back?"
That should have been some we looked into. That would be a skeptic job of going, okay, well, if it's a polar bear, where's the nearest zoo?
Yeah, dude. Where is the
Because that
nearest
way we
zoo?
can look at it and go, exactly, where is the closest big zoo that has polar bears and did a bear escape in 1994? Because we can't really authorize 29, we can't authorize the other dates, but 94 on, was there a polar bear that escaped from a zoo in 1994? That would explain why it was there in 94, 95, um, and the other dates.
Well, there is a wildlife
And I
zoo
believe
in
James is looking it up.
yes, Kingwood, West Virginia, is a zoo. So how close to be that? West-
And how far away from Point Pleasant is it?
That'd be a good question. I'm working on that right now, so to speak. Uh, Point Pleasant. Yes, we're working this. Trying to work on this, providing my computer decides it wants to work right now. Uh,
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We actually do the hardcore research during the show.
hey, we're doing it both, right? Hey, it is what it is.
We've got two people watching. If you guys want to chime in on your own thoughts, Sheepsquatch, real, hoax, fake,
All right,
misidentification. We
from
are taking
Kingwood, West
questions.
from Kingwood, West Virginia to Point Pleasant is 188 miles.
So
Hmm.
maybe they were transporting polar bears
Oh, or there
through
was an
Point
accident.
Pleasant
It's
to
some
the
sort of accident.
zoo. Yeah, why not?
Hey, hmm. Okay.
We always got to have both views on the show of sheep squatch real, sheep squatch identified as a polar bear.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, polar bears are white, right? And this thing is white. White things. Uh,
Yeah.
you be the judge, people. It's on you.
We are
Oh.
merely giving a story. We are storytellers. We've got the monsters in West Virginia up again. Uh, we have now covered everything on this poster. Some of it we can back, some of it we can't back.
Yeah, there's quite a few I
Some
cannot
we're
back.
skeptical about, and
I,
that's okay. That is 100% perfectly okay to back it or not back it.
yeah, I
All
think
we know is this thing's going to haunt your dreams.
not mine, not tonight. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm just saying.
Well,
Well,
I know the next city we go to, the next state will be Arkansas.
Arkansas. What cryptids
Now,
are in Arkansas that we're gonna be covering next?
oh, there's a whole bunch. My grandmother was actually born in Arkansas, so growing up, I always heard these. That's why I'm into these stories. Is I was not rocked to sleep with lullabies and bedtime stories. My grandmother, when she was watching us kids, would rock us to sleep
The
with
cryptids.
cryptids and ghost stories and the horrors that lurk in the woods and don't go outside and whistle. So Arkansas, I actually had to look it up and I was like, "Oh, I know all these names. I know all these creatures. This is going to be interesting."
Oh yeah. So how many we got for Arkansas?
We're going to cover about 4 and then probably 2 ghost stories.
Ooh. Okay.
So I mean, we're not going to just do cryptids for everything. We're gonna get back to the ghost stories.
Yeah, we need to get back into that ghost story stuff.
We're gonna mix it up real nice. Everything's gonna be all intermingled. I
Yeah.
mean, we are
No
primarily ghost hunters.
way. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
West Virginia had some interesting characters to go over,
the
and
Mothman
we
was.
shade we the Mothman was more interesting. I preferably like the Mothman. I've seen the Mothman. I enjoy the Mothman.
Of the cryptids we covered in West Virginia, Mothman was the one for me. That one seems a little more plausible.
Flatwoods, I would have to say, is entertaining. Grafton is entertaining. Sheepsquatch is entertaining.
Sheepsquatch more than entertaining.
Yeah, and I do believe we both have gone down that skeptical view on what it could and couldn't be. Um, I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't want to influence anybody at home. They if they want to look into it more and put a little belief, we welcome you to look into it more.
And
Um,
if we didn't get something right, let us know.
Most
Right?
definitely, because we're our research investigator is MIA.
Yeah, she's running from those MIBs.
Well, the crazy thing is, and by the way, NMIBs are on the list here. Um, she has been having issues with black cars and weird people following her. So yeah, she's probably on the run. Got a little scared. That's why she won't be on camera. Um, we joke about it. It it's happening,
Happening as we speak.
but but yeah, we'll start out October with Arkansas, and then we'll probably do a. I definitely want to try to record our ghost hunt or Old Town Ghost Walk, and that'll be like another special show. It'll be recorded. Maybe we'll do it live. I don't know. We might do it live. Might pick a Saturday night and just do it live, because I don't
Do
like
Saturday
editing.
Night Live and skip the Sunday? Or do both, Saturday and Sunday?
Well, we'll do a Saturday and Sunday. We'll record the walk on a Saturday. It'll be like a bonus Halloween issue.
Ooh.
And then we'll finish. Actually, we'll probably finish off Arkansas the last Sunday of October. And then we'll move on to a new state where we can go, yes, no, I don't believe it. I can't believe it. I don't want to believe it.
Nice. Anything's better than the sheep squatch.
Sheepsquatch has been entertaining at that.
That's
I will
about
say
the
for me personally, there are other things I can back. Sheepsquatch is an entertaining folklore urban legend. That's my 2 cents on Sheepsquatch. It's an entertaining local legend.
folklore entertainment. Yep.
Grafton Monster is an entertaining local legend.
Absolutely.
Flatwoods Monster, it's entertaining, it's local, and it's a legend.
Mm.
There are things I can get behind. There are things that I've got to say, you know what? Entertaining local legend. Bandage Man is an entertaining local legend. I'll
Yeah.
leave it that.
And I'm going to do the
So
same. I just am. I've got nothing, man. I'm shooting from the hip here. Uh, man. Yep. I'm all good with this.
all right, so
Let's put West Virginia to bed and move on.
all right, so your views on West Virginia to close it?
Hey, you know what? Vinny and all the cryptids we've covered Like I said a little while ago, I can get behind the Mothman. Absolutely. You've got the Flatwoods monster. You've got Grafton monster. Yeah. They just made up, in my opinion, just people just trying to get attention or something like that. Entertaining. This 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 Sheepsquatch, forget it. It's either, in my opinion, a misidentification of a bear, polar bear, something. It's a misidentification, regardless, and anything else on it is just pure speculation, figment of people's imagination. Because God Almighty, that illustration just is just not even right. I don't even do that, dude. Maybe that thing will haunt me tonight. You keep doing this. It's the tail, man. If it didn't have that tail, it'd be fine. But come on.
Again,
It's
my 2 cents to close out West Virginia. Every state has its local legends. Every state's going to have its cryptids. Some we're going to be able to get behind. Some we're not going to be able to get behind.
in all
And for the
seriousness,
final time, yeah, in all seriousness, but for the final time, because I've been saying it every single show, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. So we're going to leave you now, and we will be back next week with
with
Sheepsquatch,
Arkansas.
part 86.
No. We'll be back with Arkansas. And we're gonna start all over.
I'll try to put the good stories at the beginning of the month and the Bumpkiss tinfoil rabbit hole stories at the end.
like this one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, this is Doc signing off.
This is King James going away.
May Sheepsquatch haunt everyone's dreams. Goodbye.
Goodbye.